He shan. She shan? You shan. Hey guys, it's Jeff from Unytea, and today we are here with Shan. This is our fresh 2020 high mountain green oolong that I've been waiting so long for. This tea is from one of the tallest mountains in Taiwan. It's about 3,000 something meters above sea level. This garden is from about 1,800 meters, which for the tea production on Yushan is pretty high mountain. So this tea is hand-picked. It is partially hand-rolled, meaning they get the tea leaves together and then they form them together with their hands and get them as tight as they see fit. And then they transfer it over to a machine that finishes up the ball rolling process. 90 degrees Celsius, 6.5 grams of leaf per 150 milliliters of vessel. We're going to do a brief rinse, and then we're going to start with a 20-second steep. And we're going to go through some of these tasting notes together. And let me show you guys a tea that is very near and dear to my heart. So the reason this tea is very near and dear to my heart is that it's a tea that speaks to me beyond flavor. It's one that speaks to me past aroma. Yushan is a tea that the first time I sampled it, I'll never forget. I got this just remarkably refreshing, rejuvenating, irradiating, amazingly positive vibe. And the more I drank tea, the more I came to know that that was the essence known as cha-ki. That's the energy of the tea, and that this tea from this producer clearly screamed of it. Not only is this a very high mountain tea, but this producer takes extreme care and is very knowledgeable and have been doing this forever. So I trust and know what they're doing. This year's crop just came in. I am beyond ecstatic about it, so I wanted to share it with you guys. We've now done our brief rinse. I'm just going to warm up my cup and let's go over the aromatic notes that we're getting. Wow, okay, very creamy. Extremely sweet. Getting some like brioche rolls. It's a very sweet bread. It's creamy, it's lightly earthy. And you know what else it is? It's making me thirsty. So again, let's go over the parameters. 90 degrees Celsius. We're gonna brew for 20 seconds, and this is the first steep, Yushan 2020. Let's go. Time flies by when you're having fun. Oof. I'm even getting a very sweet smell just right off the liqueur. I'll give you a look. Hopefully you can see that. And the tea leaves are opening up as well. I hope that you can see that as well. And so these are really beautiful dark green leaves and a very appropriate amount of stem. They've all started to unfurl, but just a little bit, very evenly, which again is a really good sign of proper ball rolling. Shows that that extra effort really does make a difference. So we are going to say goodbye to our rinse and give it to our man Cornelius. And here we go with our first steep. Wish you guys could join me. Cheers to you. It is juicy, it's sweet. It's extremely creamy. Getting a really nice, very delicate, very silky floral. amazing finish. I'm getting a pretty strong kind of custard note. And the type of juiciness that I get is this is very, very rare that I say this juice specifically, and it is a cherry juice, not a tart cherry juice. Almost think more of the cherry juice that they would use that is mimicked in the trademark cherry flavoring. But what's still very creamy. Let's see. So it's not overly fruity, it's not overly floral. If anything, I would say this tea is majority on this first steep, it is very creamy. Very, very creamy, very sweet. It's airy. At the same time, it's got texture. It's got a little bit of weight to it. This is a refreshing tea. This is a rejuvenating tea. But at the same time, I'm still getting a very strong comfort sense. This tea is amazing to me because it could be just from this producer, but this tea is always roasted. I prefer it light roast because the magic of it is that it be the level of all the other light roast. It tends to have, Unytea.store, tends to have this character that is just slightly past a light roast. It just takes you away from those really vegetal notes, away from those really grassy notes, and just sort of kind of just brings you in, just sort of brings you into the, gosh, it is so creamy and sweet. As you sip in, you get this, not quite like menthol, but it is almost a lightly cooling sensation. This tea fills your sinuses. It has a long-lasting flavor. I get strong notes of custard. I'm still getting that cherry juiciness. Creamy, earthy, lightly floral. The floral character is very silky, almost like a blend between a buttercup and a baby's breath floral. As the tea cools more, you really, that creamy sweet character just punches through more and more. The hotter the tea is, kind of the less notes I tend to pick up. So it's always nice to drink a tea, fresh off the steep, but then to allow it to cool a little bit and see if you find a differential in the flavor or the volume of the flavors. Creamy, it's slightly milky. Maybe that's that combination of the creamy and the floral. It's sort of bringing out kind of like a lactic flavor. So this is the rest of steep 1. Steep 1, refreshing, crisp, comforting, sweet, floral, and really playfully fruity. Let's go on for steep 2. Again, we are using 90 degrees Celsius. This steep we're going to use 25 seconds. We're just going to be increasing by 5-second increments. All right, we got a really beautiful yellowy gold color that's coming out, becoming more vibrant a little bit. There's more luster, there's a little bit more depth to the color of this steep. The leaves are continuing to unfurl very evenly, which I absolutely love to see. Again, it's a sign that this tea is going to have longevity, that it's going to continue to unravel that little bit steep by steep, and it's just going to keep giving you these tiny little nuances even into the later infusions. So again, this is steep 2. more of a buttery note. I'm getting a little bit more of that custardiness, actually. Scratch the butter, add a little bit more custard. Floral note has not increased, but it has, it's built a little bit of body. It's feeling like a little bit more of a plump, sweet floral. Still very smooth. This tea is a little bit more comforting. It still has a crisp factor to it, but the name of the game, this tea really is comfort. It's refreshing, but I'm really just keep getting this very strong essence of just balance. Pure balance. I'm almost getting these kind of light strudel notes. A little bit of that baked bread, sweet bread essence mixed with that fruity kind of cherry note, flavoring note. I mean, creamy, and just, as you slosh this tea around, yes, you know there is a liquid actually sloshing around in there, but as I'm doing it, for some reason, I get this forced imagery of just these waves or giant gusts of wind just kind of brushing around. This is, again, I told you guys from the beginning, so there was a little bit of a disclaimer, so don't be like, oh, Jeff started getting weird on me, because I told you this was a tea that, for lack of a better term, speaks to me. From the time I drank this tea, it just screamed essence. So this was before a time when I was talking about cha tea or felt comfortable talking about any type of experience with tea energy. I just called it the essence. I called it the ghost of a tea. And I always knew from the moment I tasted this tea for the very first time, and the producer can back me up, that my response must have been hysterical to them, because I was just like, what is going on with that tea? And they were just like beyond pleased to hear that a Westerner, no offense taken, was so remarkably blown away. And this time it wasn't by flavor, it wasn't by the appearance of the leaf or the cost of the leaves, but it was purely at the energy that was giving off, the intention and the good feelings that came along with it. And I think that may have been my little pat on the back, seal the deal at working with this amazingly talented producer. I have even had the pleasure of meeting one of the wonderful businesswomen from this producer, and to have their support means the absolute world to me. To have access to tea as pure and as beautifully craft made as this, and be able to get it out to people all over, not only the U.S., but all over the world, it truly is an honor of mine. So I sip this tea with a little bit of pride. I sip this tea with a lot of gratitude. And yeah, this tea just gets me in that mood. Just makes you a little more humbled, a little bit more at peace with things. Kind of a everything is going to be all right type of vibe, which right now, current day, is really the, I would think that is the name of the game. Should be the name of the game. So let's get in for this notorious third steep. Everybody talks about this third steep as being the best steep, but I have a theory about really well-made oolongs, and that I don't think a well-made oolong gets close to peaking until the fifth steep. Can show signs of less. That's not a complete indicator of quality, but I find with the higher end, the really truly higher end Taiwanese oolongs I'm speaking about with more experience, they don't tend to peak in flavor, texture, depth until about steep 5. So third steep is traditionally the one that everybody talks about as being the most alluring. I think it's a great steep. I think it's when the tea first really does establish itself fully, but I don't think that is the end of the experience for this tea whatsoever. I'm getting this mouthfeel that is almost a numbing sweetness. It's almost a, again, slightly menthol, because as you breathe in, you get this kind of cooling sensation on your tongue. So let's make sure our kettle is up to 90 degrees. I would not want to understeep this tea. I find this tea's steeping parameters are pretty flexible within, I would say this tea can be steeped anywhere between 90 degrees Celsius and about 94 degrees Celsius. Anything above that, in my opinion, I think you're ruining some of the subtleties and you're pulling out and you're extracting a little bit too much too quickly. The leaf, you can go anywhere between 4 to 5 grams in my opinion. I think over 5 grams you start to overcrowd the gaiwan and you're not getting a proper representation of the leaf and how it evolves steep to steep, and I just think it provides a kind of confusing session with a tea that you really love. So, all right, here we are again. We're going to do 30 seconds for this steep. This is the third steep. Oh man, call me Butterfingers. See you in 30. So as a side note, I should let you guys know, I'm filming this video from upstate New York, and it's been constantly above 90 degrees every single day. And to do this video, I've had to shut off the air conditioning, put on all of the lights, and sit here and drink hot tea in the dead of the day. So I do apologize. Back to the tea. So this is again the notorious third steep. I'm almost getting a coconut kind of earthiness, almost a gritty, slightly fruity kind of earthiness. I mean, it's almost heading towards woody, but it doesn't have the dryness of wood. I'm still getting sweet rolls. I'm still getting juiciness. I'm still getting, in this steep I'm getting a little bit of richness. The body of the tea is building. I've now got this very nice light coating of astringency right on the top front area of your tongue. In no way is this an astringent tea. This is in no way a bitter tea. This tea is very, very well rounded without in any way seeming flat. This tea's got a lot of depth. There's a lot to explore. What I like about this tea is that it's as simple as just taking a sip and enjoying it, or it can get as complex as you want it to and just dive into all of the nooks and crannies of this tea. Getting a little bit of an orchid, type of floral this steep. The floral still very smooth, not dry at all. The back of my throat is just fine. This tea does not have that drying effect. And that's something that I do find not all teas have, but it's something you can pull out when you use those higher temperatures with greener teas. So that's why it's something that I do warn against. I don't like that dryness in the back of my throat. If it's going to be there, I'm going to appreciate it. I want it to be something with a good bite, like a dansong or something like that, not with a green Taiwanese oolong. Funny enough, I'm starting to get pussy willows. A lot of people, I mentioned pussy willows, and they've never, they know what a pussy willow is, but they don't know the aroma of it. And I really do invite people that if you don't know what that aroma is like, to head to a florist maybe and find out, because I find there's a pussy willow essence in a lot of teas. And the reason that I ask you to search it out is not only to educate yourself further, but because it's a note that I really enjoy. And I do find it, now that I've identified it, in quite a few different teas. So it's kind of a treat to me to find. But there is also kind of an orchid note in this tea, this steep. getting the beautiful, the richness of a custard. You are getting that light, kind of eggy note, but this very sweetened, almost sweetened condensed milk feel to it. This tea is just ultra creamy. It's ultra sweet. The floral note, I think, is just perfect for people that aren't crazy about floral notes. This tea should not scare you away. The floral note of this tea is really excellent. I don't find it to be distracting. I don't find it to be offensive, even to a person who's not overly fond of floral teas or floral characters in their food. I'm getting some of those just really light, beautiful, minerally roasty notes. This kind of crisp minerality and this really light hint of charcoal. Now, I'm gonna go a few more rounds with this tea and we'll check back in. I feel like I could probably go all night with this tea, but we're on steep 7 right now, and the tea is definitely showing no signs of slowing down. It's definitely showing no signs of quitting. This tea will definitely keep going for more steeps, but right now we are on steep 7. As these leaves completely unfurl, and you have a chance to really take a look at them and really hold them in your hand and feel the surface area of the leaf and just feel how lightly pliable and just silky smooth they are. And you can thank that to the high altitude, that beautiful slow growth that happens. It does an amazing thing to these leaves, and it shows that it really makes a difference when a producer tries to keep as much of the production still hand production based as possible, because it really helps to take a tea that's already extraordinary and just take it and really make it out of this world. This tea I highly suggest to anybody that is into high mountain oolongs. If you are a person who's into Taiwan tea, I suggest that you try this. We have this Unytea.store. It is stocked. It has a sample size, 25 grams and 50 grams. This tea, I find, is just absolutely rejuvenating. I think I keep saying that, but I can't scream it enough. This has got to be my favorite high mountain tea I've sampled this year, and I'm glad to have it in the store. So head over to Unytea.store, make sure you like, subscribe, do all those things, and make sure to check out shan 2020. Thank you guys a ton. We'll see you again soon with a tea in the near future. Adios.